Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP today. The Ducati Lenovo team has touched down in southern Spain, brimming with confidence after an emphatic 1-2 in Qatar. Marc Márquez arrives atop the standings with 123 points and 3 wins under his belt, while Francesco, Pecco, Bagnaia, third in the championship with 97 points, is undefeated at Jerez since 2022. As the paddock prepares for the 5th round of 2025, anticipation is high. This is MotoGP's first European race, where home crowd fervor and a technically demanding circuit combine to test man and machine like nowhere else. The reigning MotoGP World Champion, Jorge Martin, has sent fans and paddock alike a reassuring health update from Qatar after his dramatic tumble at the Lusail International Circuit. Forced to remain in hospital in Doha due to 6 broken ribs and a pneumothorax, Martin vowed that despite the pain, he's on the mend, and plans to head home very soon. Struggling with a lack of grip and straight-line punch, Fabio Quartararo arrives at Jerez determined to find the missing piece in Yamaha's package. Despite a season-best 7th place in Qatar and a surprise front-row start, the 2021 World Champion sits 8th in the standings and fears the current M1 has reached its development ceiling, unless something dramatic turns up after Le Mans. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. After 4 flyaway races across Asia and the Middle East, Jerez de la Frontera brings teams back to European soil, and one of the most passionate fanbases in motorsport. The 4.4-kilometer layout mixes high-speed sweepers with tight hairpins, demanding stability under braking and nimble chassis response. Ducati arrives having introduced subtle chassis tweaks to improve mid-corner turn-in, and both Marquez and Bagnaia are eager to see how their GP25 machines perform on a circuit where even a tenth of a second can mean 3 grid positions. Jerez is where we really feel the fans' energy. After the first flyaways, it's crucial to hit the ground running here and show our pace in front of the home crowd. Marc Márquez statement. Marquez boasts 3 previous wins at Jerez, 2 on Hondas and 1 on his Desmosedici for Gresini Racing. But it was here in 2020 that his career took a dramatic turn with a serious arm injury. Now fully recovered and riding the factory Ducati, he sees Jerez as both a venue of redemption and a barometer for his title credentials. With track temperatures often flirting with 30 degrees Celsius in late April, tire degradation will be a key factor, and Marc's refined strategy in Qatar, where he managed sprint and main race tire life flawlessly, gives him added belief. After everything that happened here in 2020, returning to Jerez as a Ducati factory rider and championship leader feels incredibly special. Bagnaia's record at Jerez is nothing short of spectacular, 3 consecutive victories from 2022 through 2024. His comeback from 11th to 2nd in Qatar showcased his resilience and racecraft, and he's honed his braking precision and mid-corner drive in every session this season. Ducati's engineers have also fine-tuned the spring rates and electronic traction controls to maximize exit grip on Jerez's long back straight, a setup tailored to Pecco's aggressive riding style. We've found a great balance here over the last 3 years. I'm confident we can pick up where we left off and challenge for another win, Francesco Bagnaia said. The weekend officially begins Friday at 10:45 a.m. local time with free practice 1. Followed by FP2 under the setting Andalusian sun. These sessions will be crucial for assessing soft versus medium tire performance, and dialing in suspension settings for Jerez's mix of slow turns and high-speed chicanes. Ducati's social media has been abuzz, celebrating 7 recent factory wins at this circuit, and both riders aim to build an early advantage before Saturday's FP3 and qualifying. Few circuits generate the atmosphere of Jerez, where tifosi draped in red pack the grandstands and ring the old university tower with cheers. Marquez expects that support to be a 12th man, especially in the technical middle sector, while Bagnaia welcomes the challenge of sharing a podium with his Spanish fans. Both agree that the emotional lift from tens of thousands of supporters can be the difference in a tightly fought race. When the crowd erupts through sectors 3 and 4, you find a bit of extra commitment. Every lap feels like a home victory, Marc Márquez concluded. As the Ducati duo gear up for the first green flag on Friday, all eyes will be on whether Marquez can transform his homecoming into another win, and if Bagnaia's Andalusian mastery will continue. With machinery, momentum, and a roaring crowd behind them, Jerez promises to be a defining chapter in the 2025 MotoGP saga. On lap 19 of the Qatar Grand Prix, Martin lost the front at turn 14, the second of Lusail's trio of high-speed right-handers, and slid along the racing line at over 200 km per hour. By the time Fabio Di Gianantonio arrived on the scene, avoidance was impossible, compounding the severity of the impact. The Aprilia rider later described the moment as shockingly brutal. "The worst scene of my life," he admitted after the race. Admitted immediately to Doha's leading trauma center, Martin underwent scans and treatment for multiple rib fractures and a collapsed lung. After 4 tense days under observation, he was finally cleared to leave, though still grappling with discomfort. "Finally out of the hospital," he shared on Instagram, expressing gratitude to medics and fans for their support. Despite his 6 broken ribs and pneumothorax, Martin insists that his recovery is on track. He's already begun gentle respiratory exercises to re-expand the lung and strengthen his core, essential for withstanding MotoGP's G-force loads. "I'm still in a lot of pain, but everything is under control," he assured, highlighting his confidence in the medical team and rehab plan. Rather than risk flying home too soon, Martin will remain in Qatar as a precaution, continuing treatment and physiotherapy, before making the roughly 6-hour journey back to Spain. "I'll stay in Qatar for a few more days as a precaution, and as soon as I can, I'll head home to rest and be with my people," he confirmed, underlining his cautious optimism. With the MotoGP paddock heading to Jerez this weekend, Aprilia will once again draft Lorenzo Salvadori into the factory team alongside Marco Bezzecchi. Though Martin's absence leaves a void in the championship, his upbeat update has reassured Aprilia's engineers and fans that he'll return stronger. "Hope it'll be very soon," he added, signing off with confidence that he'll rejoin the title chase before the European season reaches its midpoint. As the grid lines up in Andalusia without its defending champion, Martin's steady recovery plan and positive outlook provide a welcome boost for Aprilia and the MotoGP community. Here's hoping that very soon becomes this season's most triumphant comeback. In Lusail, Quartararo qualified on the front row for the first time in 2025 but quickly slipped back when the low-grip M1 failed to hook up. Early laps were a battle for traction, and rather than fighting at the front, he found himself stuck in the midfield, frustrating for a rider accustomed to podium runs. "Not really fun. The first laps, we have the same problem as usual, where the grip is low, then it comes a bit better, but by then it's already too late," Fabio Quartararo said. Yamaha has introduced a raft of new components this year, from revised cam profiles to tweaked suspension mounts, but none have delivered the quantum leap Quartararo needs. With each test, he zeroes in on the elusive sweet spot for tire performance and engine mapping, but so far the deficits in acceleration and drive off the corner remain. "We need something to make a step forward. We work a lot, we have a lot of new items, but we never find really what we want." When asked if he'll roll out fresh hardware at Jerez, Quartararo sounded unconvinced. Yamaha's next big update is slated for after Le Mans, and with a private test in Italy on the horizon, his hopes rest on the test team's private outing at Valencia, and on squeezing every performance gain from the current bike this weekend. "Looks like no new parts for Jerez. More likely after Le Mans. We have a test in Italy straight after the race, and let's see if we can find something." Yamaha's one undeniable strength this year has been its strong, stable braking platform, and Quartararo has used late braking moves to gain places. Yet without the grunt to pull alongside on the exit, those overtaking chances evaporate, leaving him unable to capitalize on his best asset. The only strong point we have is really the braking point. But if you are not able to prepare to overtake, it makes no sense. Quartararo's history at Jerez runs deep. He notched his first 2 Premier Class wins here in 2020 and nearly scored a sprint podium last year before a post-race penalty. Now 26 and buoyed by a recent birthday, he's eager to tap into those past successes and use the single-day test after the GP to refine Yamaha's setup. I feel ready to go back to work now. I really like Jerez. Let's see what we can do during this race weekend and the test. We will, for sure, give it our 100% again. Fabio Quartararo concluded. As Yamaha sits tied for last in the constructors' standings alongside KTM, Quartararo's plea for major upgrades, and his resolve to wring out every 10th, will define the European opening. If Jerez yields no new parts, the real test will come at Le Mans and beyond, where Yamaha must deliver or risk slipping further behind. Thanks for watching ZNGP today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time.